Hey everybody, it's Ryan with a channel on YouTube you sometimes watch to see what an actual train wreck looks like and to make yourself feel better about your own life. All kidding aside, it's me, Ryan, your friendly neighborhood YouTube man. It does not have the same ring to it that Spider-Man does now, does it? This may be a bit of a longer video, but I wanted to provide a kind of Knights of the Old Republic rumor/news roundup that tries and covers pretty much everything that we are hearing about possible Kotor projects. I also didn't want to provide you with a 5-paragraph article that doesn't give you any honest analysis or explanation beyond what's going on here. We don't know. What do you think? Seriously, if you don't believe me, go and search Kotor on Google. The first thing you'll see is a few articles that basically say, what's going on here? We don't know. Fans are going crazy. You'll also notice in this video that you can't see my face. Well, I can't see yours ever, so I guess we're even. As usual, before I begin, if you haven't already considered subscribing to the channel, please do so. It makes me feel good, but not in an inappropriate way, in a wholesome way. I didn't really need to specify that. Our first bit of news, and essentially the theme of this video, has to do with the speculation and mystery around the new, rumored, Knights of the Old Republic Games developer. There is a Megathread on the Kotor subreddit that breaks a lot of the rumors and bits down, compiled by Snigaru. Snigaru? Who knows? Just as a bit of housekeeping beforehand, I just want to put it out there that like any and all rumors and speculation, you should be cautious to take any of this to heart. That's not to say anyone is lying, or that you're being misled purposely, or that you shouldn't speculate or get excited, or even watch videos about it. More that you should just remind yourself that until we hear the plan from official sources, it's speculation and conjecture, and just be aware of that. We just don't know for sure. I can give you my opinion, and others can too, of what we think will happen, and that's fine, but as I don't work for these companies, I don't speak for them, nor do I know what they are thinking. With that out of the way, let's take a look at it. The first part of it is what we mainly know as fact. Just before Christmas, Aspyr Media, the same company that released the Kotor 2 update on Steam and ported the original Kotor to mobile 6 years ago, was finally given authorization to release their Kotor 2 port to mobile. This guarantees that Kotor, at least from a financial standpoint, is presently on the minds of individuals with decision-making power. That same company, Aspyr Media, which was recently acquired by another company, is set on an acquisition call to be internally working on other projects based within existing IPs. Now, if you click on that link there, it goes to another thread with a video of some guys just shooting the shit. I'm kidding, it's just a bunch of PR speak, mumble-jumble, investor call stuff. It's really just them talking about working on existing IPs as well as new ones. Star Wars games are either currently or imminently no longer to be licensed entirely through EA since the de facto resurrection of LucasArts in the form of the new Lucasfilm's game division. This occurred several weeks ago. Bespin Bulletin, a group with a track record of partial success in leaking reliable information about forthcoming Star Wars media, has revealed the rumor that a new Kotor game may be in development. I will relink the initial article from the other day that had the initial leak or rumor of the new Kotor game that basically started this whole conversation we're having about Knights of the Old Republic and it coming back or making a comeback. But the final bullet point amongst all of them basically just says that this is all we know to be fact. Everything else is suspect or rumor. And really, that is all we know. Everything else is up in the air. These things are all true. That might be our big hint that Aspyr is the one handling the new Knights of the Old Republic game, because look, if you see all the facts that are laid out here, they did do the Kotor 2 upgrade on PC, they also did port Kotor 1 to mobile years ago, and they released a port for Kotor 2 recently. In fact, they also handled the ports for Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Both I thought were solid ports of two classic Star Wars games, so it's not too far out there to suggest they might be the developers for a new Knights of the Old Republic game. We also know the whole rebranding of Lucasfilm Games, and that they are in fact shopping around Star Wars projects to anyone with a good idea. Bespin Bulletin did leak the initial rumor and Aspyr was acquired by a bigger company, but those are the facts. Some of my speculation and opinion thrown in there, of course, but everything else there is true. Now we're going to move on to the rumors. I do caution again, these are rumors and speculation, but the fun kind, where it is fun to discuss and imagine what a new Knights of the Old Republic game could be. What is rumored? The game existing. This is important. There is zero official confirmation that the game is actually in development. It is likewise worth remembering that games begin development, get nowhere, and are canceled before ever being announced all the time. So even if this is legit, we might never see it. If the game is in development, the original leaker claims that it is Kotor 3, i.e. it has not been suggested by Bespin Bulletin that it is a remake/remaster. It is supposedly being developed outside of EA, not at one of their subsidiary studios, like Bioware, though it may still be published in part by EA. The studio working on the game is rumored to be something of a surprise. Exact wording, we'll never guess who the studio is making that game, except we did kind of guess. Apparent rumor confirmations from inside the industry imply the studio is not a household name, but also not as mysterious as you think. Really not. Jason Schreier, a respected games journalist, appears to suggest that he believes the rumor is legitimate. He has also implied that the Aspyr acquisition and Aspyr's rumored multi-million-dollar in-house project could be related to the rumored studio making the port. So much has been made of this, but if you really go over to the link, it goes to Reset Era, a site for gaming discussion mainly, and his comment is mainly in response to somebody saying that Embracer, the company that acquired Aspyr, confirmed that they are working in a game that is a licensed IP with a $70 million budget. But is that really enough of a budget for a Star Wars game? Consider a lot of AAA titles are in fact just under that budget, meeting it or even exceeding it. He responds to a few people, one of them saying, I'm not going to try and read his mind or read between the lines here. I'm just going to say he probably just means it's possible that he didn't think about it himself. Who knows? I feel like if Jason Schreier knew something, he would tell us if he was allowed to, considering he told us about the Mass Effect remaster months ago, and that ended up being true. Only thing he got wrong was the day and date. But I hate putting words into old Jason's mouth that he didn't say. Continuing on, Bespin Bulletin later appeared to somewhat walk back his assertions, saying that there is possibly a game in development outside of EA. It's unclear whether or not this is meant to target individuals who may have implied the leak was confirmed, an attempt to walk back suggestions that the remake is absolutely being developed outside of EA, or an attempt to suggest he is less confident than initially supposed about the probability of the game being in development. The link goes to a tweet that has been deleted. I think it likely says something similar to what we have been told. Again, remember, a lot of this is rumors and conjecture, and it's possible they may have thought they heard something. I'm not saying they didn't. More than that, it's not confirmed. Let's continue. Other outlets are suggesting that rather than being KOTOR 3, the game could actually be a remake, which has rumored to have been in development some 6 to 8 months ago, which rumor at the time indicated would significantly retool both game stories in order to make them compatible with modern canon. If this is the case, then the game is not a sequel, but a remake and a recanonization, which again, rumor at the time suggested would seriously modify the game's stories and styles. Now, I don't have an article for it or a specific source, but if you recall, there was that story about a year or two ago that there were remakes of the KOTOR games in development. That's a possibility, a remake that takes 1 and 2 and kind of mashes them together and officially recanonizes the games for a modern day Star Wars. Some speculation. It must be stressed that this has not been hinted at by any individual in the industry or even a leaker source, has theorized that the new game might be set in the High Republic, since this is one of Disney's new areas of focus. Doing a far future sequel to KOTOR or remaking Knights of the Old Republic not as Knights of the Old Republic but as Knights of the High Republic might be a method of garnering fan attention and support for the High Republic era. This is something we are also hearing about, and it would make sense given the new Star Wars media Disney is pushing, the High Republic era. What better way to get people excited about it than to start a new game series along with it? It does have the possibility to, of course, work in some Old Republic lore, of course, so it could be taking some of those themes or story bits and have them working into the High Republic era, but again, who knows? Unsubstantiated rumors, coupled with a tweet, probably drawn from the same source, suggest the KOTOR games might be coming to Switch. It goes without saying that this is totally unconfirmed, but if it were true, it's possible that all the various KOTOR rumblings lately could only be related to this project rather than a KOTOR 3. This actually brings us to our second topic on the whole prospect of a new KOTOR game. I have an extra source I'm going to mention that kind of semi-confirms this last bullet point is true. To be clear, not that the ports are true or that the remasters or remakes or anything is true, just that they are in fact rumblings. These are, of course, mainly rumors we have to go on. Also, just to be clear, not an inside source, I'm not that important. I'm just a small YouTuber who loves KOTOR. I mean, I just have a quote from a tweet to read you, which I'm about to get into. In addition to all the other KOTOR rumors and speculation, we have hints that KOTOR 1 and 2 will be receiving re-releases on consoles later this year, similarly to Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. Now, of course, like most of the other stuff here in this video, this news is not new, but I thought this could be a good place for you to come to if you want all the information regarding all this KOTOR saga speculation of rumors, and I said that weird, but you know what I meant, as well as get my own opinion on what all of this means. We have comments from known Star Wars insider and Cinelink's editor-in-chief, Jordan Mason. He says in his tweets in reference to KOTOR, "Heard some fun game stuff this week, nothing huge and no real details, hence a tweet and not a post. You know how the Jedi Knight games and Episode 1 Racer got Switch/modern console re-releases? Hearing KOTOR 1 and 2 will get the same at some point this year. Note that this would be separate from upcoming remake thingy, which would incorporate elements to include it into canon. This would just be straight upscaled ports." Now again, as I have said multiple times, that is all we have to go on, so it would appear we should be expecting ports of KOTOR 1 and 2 on consoles. I have often said that I have no qualms about buying these games again. I have to date purchased both games 3 times, and if I can load it up on my PS5 and kick back and play them, it would be quite incredible. So, what does this all mean? Legit? Nothing. Not actually nothing, but the information we have to go on is little, so to draw any conclusions is jumping the gun a bit in my opinion. That being said, I hesitate to say that we can definitively claim there's a new Knights of the Old Republic in the works, or even a Knights of the High Republic. It's just not enough to go on. I think when it gets closer to whatever this all means being revealed, we will start to get a better idea. Mass Effect Legendary Edition was only a terribly kept secret because at some point, people just started yapping, so it was hard to keep secret at some point. The one I can believe is that we'll eventually see KOTOR 1 and 2 on consoles this year. It would make the most reasonable sense to expect, because Aspyr Media has been working on these games for years. It would be fairly easy to imagine that they could just do one more port to the current systems. Or if they're working on new titles, they do KOTOR 1 and then a little bit later, they do KOTOR 2. Now, sometimes when these companies release remasters or ports, they're using it to see if there is interest or garner interest in a new title. Think Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Again, I'll repeat, this is all fun speculation and rumor and conjecture, and it's fun to discuss, but my best advice, hold. Just hold. There's honestly been rumors of KOTOR 3 or KOTOR follow-up since I played both of these games in 2005/2006. Granted, there was a third game in development at that point in time or around that time, so it wasn't as speculative, but point being, for over 10 years, we've been seeing hints that the series is returning. It's just that the iron is striking a little hotter now. Now, I'm not joking when I say I used to go on the forums and I used to go on the discussion boards after playing Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 years and years ago. So I'm not joking when I say for over 10 years, people have been talking about and suggesting and discussing what a third game would look like, or a reimagining, or a remake, or a sequel. Okay, so that ended up being a bit of a longer video, but I really wanted to create a video where you could get all the rumors and tidbits in case you were curious and maybe provide an outlet for you to discuss. I know I also kind of beat you over the head with the "none of this is confirmed" stuff, but I didn't want to be irresponsible and hype something that isn't for sure happening. I'm also generally not an outwardly hyped person. On the inside, I'll scream, but my outside reaction is usually just, yeah, I'm excited. That's the extent of a reaction you'll get out of me, but of course, if anything develops, we will update you. Not we. It's just me here. Who is we? I will also just say personally, on the whole, maybe it's going to be in the High Republic era. I actually generally would prefer if they just kept it in the Old Republic era, because I do feel that it is a very untapped and underutilized section of the Star Wars lore. I can be persuaded otherwise, though. I'm a little agnostic generally. I do prefer the Old Republic, like I said, but in general, I'm agnostic, because if it's good, it's good. Also, just to add on to the whole speculation that Aspyr Media is, in fact, the one developing the new Knights of the Old Republic game, they have been hiring ex-Bioware game devs. That is true. Now, does that mean that they're there to help them make a new KOTOR game? Not necessarily, but it is generally possible, I guess. It's also possible they're just hiring people because they seem qualified. Personally, Aspyr is probably one of the best studios to handle a new KOTOR game. That's not to say that other studios could not handle it, it's just that they've been handling and doing the ports and enhancing the Kotor games for years, that it would make sense and I would trust them to handle it and treat it with respect. For me, my ideal scenario was to get those ports of Knights of the Old Republic either packaged physically or just have them as a digital download, either bundled together or purchased separately, kind of like Jedi Knight Jedi Outcast and Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. And then we get our whole remake or remaster or sequel of Knights of the Old Republic or Knights of the High Republic, whatever it may be. Because I often will say that I think people kind of treat this a little too seriously, in the sense that if they release a new game and it's not good, or if they release a remaster or enhancement and it's not good, the great thing about that, guys, is that that old game you liked, it still exists. And it's still very, very good. KOTOR 2 and KOTOR 1 with mods are some of the best experiences you can have today. So even if they release a new game and you're not into it, that's okay. You know why? Because the old game still exists and they're still readily accessible. If you have a decent PC, you can probably run it, and some mods even. Eventually, as I continue playing Knights of the Old Republic 2 or doing my 2021 replay, I will do a video just describing my favorite mods to use when I play that game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you want to see KOTOR on consoles? What do you think of a new KOTOR not being KOTOR but being in the High Republic era? What do you think of all these rumors? Do you think I smell? The last one is super important. In any case, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll love you all, and I'll see you next time.